So I just bought a brand new grill, and to celebrate I wanted to make some chicken kebabs. But I can't just make any old chicken kebabs. They've got to be juicy, flavourful and easy to make. That leaves me with a clear choice. I'm going to make Shish Tawouk. This Syrian and Lebanese recipe is the #1 chicken kebab in the entire Middle East, and rightly so. All you need is chicken and a fantastic marinade, and you're going to make the best chicken kebab of your entire life. To make the marinade, start off by juicing some lemons. You'll need about 3 tablespoons of fresh lemon juice, as its flavour is key to the marinade. Then in a blender or jug, add 8 cloves of garlic with the lemon juice. I'm going to blend them together to break down the garlic into a fine paste. After that, I'll add 200 grams of yogurt, which will form the base of the marinade. The yogurt contains enzymes which will help soften the meat, and that will allow us to use chicken breast in this recipe and still get a tender and juicy result. Next, I added 50 grams of olive oil and then 30 grams of tomato paste. This next ingredient is 75 grams of red pepper paste. Think of it like tomato paste, but with the flavour of paprika. It has a strong savoury profile which adds tons of flavour to the recipe. It isn't available everywhere though, so if you can't find it, use some tomato paste mixed with paprika as a substitute. All we're left with is the seasonings. Add 2 teaspoons of salt, then 1.5 teaspoons of white pepper. Add 1.5 teaspoons of paprika, 1 teaspoon of Greek or Turkish oregano, 1 teaspoon of ground coriander, half a teaspoon of ginger, and half a teaspoon of cardamom. Lastly, there is 10 grams of white vinegar. I forgot to add it until later, but you can add it now. Then I blended that together very thoroughly until it was super well combined. You want the texture to be pretty smooth, and then set it aside while you prep the chicken. For this recipe, I'm using 1 kilogram of chicken breast, which is the traditional choice for Shish Tawouk. You can use thighs instead, but the big grilled chunks have a super satisfying texture, plus the marinade makes them super juicy. Take the breasts and slice them into 1-inch wide strips like these, and then cut those the other way into roughly 1-inch cubes. They should end up nice and meaty in size like this. Once they're chopped, I added them to a large bowl and then poured over all of the delicious marinade. Mix that together and there should be plenty of marinade to give the chicken a thick and generous coating. And after mixing, it looked like this. You now want to let this rest for a minimum of an hour, but anywhere from 3 to 12 hours will be perfect. Once your chicken has had enough time to marinate, you should start firing up your grill. So let's roll the grill montage. Now while the grill was heating up, I set about prepping the skewers. These have onion and pepper on them, so let's get that ready. First off are 3 red or yellow peppers. I cut the flesh off the core, then sliced them into big chunks that are about 1 inch in size. Then there's a red onion. I chopped each half down the middle, then into 3 sections. After that I separated it into pieces that had 2 to 3 layers each, and here's what I was left with. At this point I could assemble the skewers. I like to use these square shaped ones as they don't spin loosely in the chicken when I rotate them on the grill. I highly recommend getting some if you grill a lot. I started by adding a piece of onion to the skewer, then I followed it up with a piece of pepper. Next I skewered a piece of chicken and slid that on, then followed it up with another piece of chicken. I repeated that again, doing the onion, then the pepper, then 2 pieces of chicken, and then I did it all a 3rd time. Finally I capped off the skewer with some more onion and pepper, and the skewer was ready. You could try to get more pieces on there, but it's important that you don't compress the chicken pieces together, otherwise they won't cook well. And here's what all those skewers ended up looking like. In total, I made about 8 of these skewers. Now I'm going to be cooking them on the grill, but you can also cook these under your oven's broiler to get a similar charred effect like I'm doing here. Right about now the coals were white hot, so I placed the skewers across the grill. You don't want to be cooking these over flames, otherwise it's easy to burn the chicken. I also removed the grate before cooking so I can cook the skewers directly over the fire, and that also means they won't stick to anything. They need to cook for about 10 minutes in total. I rotated them every 2 minutes and shuffled them around a bit to avoid the hot spots. Pretty quickly they reached 72 degrees Celsius, and after confirming that with my thermometer, I pulled them off of the grill. You can see just how good these skewers looked. It was so hard to resist digging right in. The chunks are super juicy, and even this cross section shows how moist of a kebab this is. To serve, I placed the skewer on some thin pita bread and pulled the skewer out to release the chicken. I then added on some garlic sauce, which we made in a recent video, and then added on a handful of chopped lettuce. Roll that up and then slice to reveal the perfect cross section. This is one of those sandwiches that is just super satisfying to eat, and even if it's not served in bread, it's a fantastic meal to make during the week. I had to do a quick taste test while it was still hot. This is seriously one of the best grilled chicken recipes you will ever try. This sandwich is a 10 out of 10. Literally nothing you could improve in this. Go and try it.